Hey, what's up, everybody? Sorry for that. Yeah, what a way to start the new year. My goodness. What a glitch. Nah, just I had the wrong input on. Sorry about that, guys. Um, yeah. Yo, what's up, Kun? How you doing, man? Thanks for letting me know that you couldn't hear me in the beginning because I was talking a little bit. But thanks for catching that early before I went into the half hour. Happy New Year, Ice Cream Gaming. Yes, Happy New Year, everybody. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday and had a great New Year. We're back with Grind My Gears 2020 edition. This is 2020. But yeah, we are here, and I was just talking about just the amount of games that are gonna come out. What's up, Lincoln Clay? How you doing, man? Happy New Year. So like, yeah, just the amount of games that are coming out in this first half of this year, it's gonna be insane. I'm talking about from everybody. Microsoft, Sony, multiplats. There's just so many games coming out. I'm expecting some craziness this year, in 2020, and I'm not gonna bore us with predictions and all that other stuff. Um, because again, I think it's going to be a roller coaster of a ride, and I think from everybody, and I think anything, as we've seen at the tail end of last year, anything's up for grabs, man. The whole thing, MLB The Show going multiplat in 2021, like, it's anything could happen. Sony, are they going to show up to E3? Are they not going to be at E3? Are they going to do their own thing? Are they just going to do state of plays and then do a big reveal conference halfway through and not wait to E3, or follow up E3 with a whole bunch of games? We don't. It's going to be insane. Is Microsoft going to have another event, or are they just going to hold off until E3? Are they going to show the other console, at E3? I don't know. It's crazy. It's going to be absolutely insane. But really, what I just wanted to reflect upon is just some of the stuff that happened in the end of last year, because it's been some time. For what's been going on. As we go back to the Game Awards, which seems like eons ago, the awards themselves were Sony's broke, can't afford E3. Yeah, right? Sony's so broke. They can't afford E3. But you know what? Not having E3, I think it was a bum move. I think E3, it would have been nice to have them at E3. What's up, Merc? How you doing? Happy New Year, man. I think it would have been great for them to be at E3, but you know what? It kind of didn't. It really didn't hurt them so much that they might skip it again this year. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they'll just do their own event like halfway through in February or March and just kind of do it all there, and then just kind of show some games at E3, or do a state of play and move on and not do a big E3 conference. I don't know. It's gonna be sick. It's gonna be crazy this year. I'm expecting January, in the next couple of weeks, probably we hear about some game delays, because I think there's too many friggin' games coming out in the first half of this year anyway. It's wonderful, but I don't know if those are placeholders, or they're going to push those games out to later on in the year, maybe summer, August, September, that kind of area too, to get these out before next gen. I don't know. We will see. But, just to talk back on the Series X, and I know we had some, let's make sure you can hear me now, right? I don't want to say this all again. I guess you can, right? Yeah, you can hear me now. I see the mic thing now. I should have tested it before I did it. Shame on me. 2020. But yeah. So right before the hiatus began, and I was on a couple of podcasts. Shout out to Merc with the UPP podcast. We're on there. Did a Grinders Roundtable. Just to kind of talk about what happened, and we did a live reactions too on Merc 305's channel. Check it, because that was crazy. I have to say, like, that really was a great surprise moment, what we saw at the Game Awards. And, having Phil come out and reveal the console, the next-gen console, showing it, not just talking about it, showing it, and then showing a game. It was simple, it was very impactful, and I commend them on that. What's up, Cyber Dragon? How you doing, man? I think it was a great move. Like, yeah, it was during an award show when they're gonna show some games, but you know what? Everybody watches that award show for the reveals. The awards are nice, but everybody and Keeley feeds into that too. He feeds into that whole like, oh, we got with 20 game reveals, or 20 world exclusives, world premieres they call them, and so he feeds into that too. But I think the whole layout, the timing, was trash. And that whole friggin' awards show. There were too many commercials. And then they announced some awards on the back end that they gave them in the alleyway. Some horse shit like that. Get the hell out. I don't have time for that stuff. And I was glad that they got that Xbox thing in the beginning because that kind of set the tone. And the rest of it was just garbage. Waiting on who won the esports winners and whatever. But the game of the year was Sekiro. And actually, one of the nominees, Control, I happened to beat over the break. And just to give my impressions on Control, the destruction, the powers that you have on Control, really cool. The story, the voice acting, the atmosphere. That game really had no place to be in no Game of the Year categories. And then technically, the freezing and the glitching as you came out of the start menu was annoying. But really, that game really didn't. That was no Game of the Year. It was a nice game. It was an okay game. I think the destruction was really cool. The powers, I really like to see that. But beating the game, the story was all right. And it was cool storytelling. I think they do a good job in storytelling, how they tell the story. It's not just a bunch of cutscenes. Like, they try to make it atmospheric and engaging. So I do think I like the element. I always liked how they told the story. Especially with Alan Wake, and also Quantum Break was okay with the story. But yeah, I think the way they told the story, the way they did the video overlays and discovery and stuff like that was pretty cool. The way they told it. What the story was about, still a lot of question marks on certain things. But one thing I did wanted to say, what came up after I beat Control, was something that really grinds my gears. And we're going to get the first rant of 2020. Are we ready? The first rant of 2020. And this shouldn't take long. We're going to do this. The thing that pissing me off. Happy New Year, Mog. All right. Here it is. Rant. I am going to make a New Year's resolution. Okay? I am not going to buy these bundles, season passes, when the game is like $60 for the plain Jane version, but then we get the $100 to $80 version that has the season pass. Hell, we don't know what's in the season pass. But the biggest problem of all is that the game goes on sale as the gold edition, bundled edition, with the season pass before we even get the first DLC of the season pass. What am I doing? Giving my money? Just here you go, Dev. Thanks. Ubisoft does it. Control. I was like, oh, wait a second. I beat the game. The bundle, the Elite Edition bullshit is on sale. It's $40, $30. I'm like, okay, so where's my DLC? Uh-oh. Stream complete. What? See, YouTube can't handle me. YouTube can't handle me. Whenever they hear me go crazy, YouTube can't handle me. I think I'm back up now. It's been a crazy array. It starts. But I'm tired of buying these games with these bundles because, like, oh yeah, this season it seems like a good deal. Get the bundle, $80. Let me get the game and all the DLC. Maybe you play it early and stuff like that. That's another scam. But then the game goes on sale, and we didn't even get the first part of DLC. Gold edition's $40 now. It was $80. Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, YouTube, they can't handle my rants. I'm just so... My opinion's so powerful that YouTube the servers just crash. But I don't. I'm done. I'm done with buying these editions, these gold editions and stuff like that. And on top of that, when they do the DLC or the season pass content, it comes out like low key, like it comes under the radar. It's like, did they even release it? Like, where's the expansion? What's going on? Did it come out? What happened? I appreciate when a dev says, "Hey, by the summer you're gonna get the DLC." Maybe they give some time points. YouTube hates facts. That's right. That's right. They don't like facts. They go, "Oh no, we want the hyperbole. We want the lies." But it's just bullshit. Because I bought the DLC back. Like, I see that the bundle's on sale. And I'm like, wait a second, where's the first expansion? They're supposed to have like 3 of them. None. Then on top of that, exactly, Cyberdragon, just buy the standard copy. But I'm going to tell you, they got smart on this shit too, because I was looking at this. You buy the game, right? And then the only way to get the DLC is to buy the bundle. I want the expansion just to download the expansion by itself, and sometimes they bundle the expansion inside the bundle of the game. So you need to buy the bundle to get the season pass sometimes. It's so friggin' weird, like sometimes, but it's just annoying as hell that on day one, it's $60 game and a $100 game or a $90 game, and the $90 game comes with the season pass content, some like hokey dokey stuff, and but then the game goes on sale, and it goes on sale for like, oh yeah, 15, 20% off, 30% off. And now the bundle that was $80 now is $50. And now you can buy the bundle, but that's before the even DLC came out. Don't you think that you should at least time it where your DLC comes out and the sale comes out? Like, it's friggin' annoying. And it's also annoying that if I can't download the DLC by itself when it goes on sale or when it comes out. So I buy the standard edition at $60, and then when the DLC comes out, then I can just buy it. It really is annoying. Yeah, I know. The way these games go on sale now, it's been crazy too. That's another thing that I did last year, that I held off on a lot of games and just waited for sales. Caused a bigger backlog because, now you have like these games, you get them for cheap because the price went down. I think one of the games I'm gonna get, I know is on sale now, is Rage 2. I heard that game is it's all right, but it's like $20 for the everything. So I might just grab it just to play some like shooter in the meantime. Because I've been playing Call of Duty like crazy, and Call of Duty's been awesome. And I love how they've been just updating it and adding stuff to Call of Duty over the time. Like, I'm really in love with Call of Duty, and I can't believe I'm even saying that. Because they've done an amazing job. Free no more, packs. But I do have to commend too. It's on PC Game Pass. Maybe I do have PC Game Pass. Maybe I will try it out on there. Most good, just download it. PC. I don't know. The thing is that my PC is in a certain room, and I got gaming other places. And talking about a hot things I picked up over the break, I got myself a 4K projector. So unless I got to go lug my computer over there, I've been gaming on that thing, because that's been like theater gaming. I'm ready for next gen with my 4K. I got that, and I'm going to tell you, as you know, I do a whole bunch of headphones. I really like the Razors. The Razer, which ones? What are these freaking called? The Nari Ultimates, the vibrating headsets. They're really good. Vibrating sometimes goes crazy. Rage 2 does have free DLC. Yes, I came over the summer. Chat's full of knowledge. Thank you, chat. I know this is the grinders chat. We're a small group. We're a small group. We don't have any fools. But I got the LS41s from who the hell are they? Lucid Sound, right? Lucid Sounds. The LS41s. Yo. These are good. I had the 30s back when they released them about 3-4 years ago, and I met the Lucid Sound booth over at PAX, and I got the LS30s, and those were great. But man, the LS41s, they just added the 7.1 surround sound. They work with PC. I think the chat cable through Xbox, and they work with PlayStation with the 5.1 optical. but man, I really like them. They're powerful, and they work with the chat on PlayStation, which sometimes that doesn't work where you have the chat and the game audio separately. Some of the ones where you just plug in through USB, besides the Platinums, do that one. But yeah, anyway, those are a couple big tech things that I got. And I got a bunch of games and stuff like that. And as I mentioned, I beat Control. But yeah, just to jump back to the whole what's been going on since the announcement of the Series X. Just wanted to get into this. Yes. You know what, Mog? Totally right. But I'm going to tell you something. I had a 1080p projector, an Epson one, and I did feel that. Moving around the big screen with your head and stuff like that, I couldn't play first-person shooters. I would just get dominated. Like, I would just need a smaller screen where I can move faster and have a better response time. But I don't know what it is, but I got the Epson 3700. It's the new 4K projector. Now, projectors, there's native 4K, and there's kind of the 4K where they they do 4K by doubling the pixels. That's the more consumer level one. The other one's like $5,000 and stuff like that. But it's definitely super sharp. I compared the two of them. But I'm gonna tell you, the response time is top notch on this. They do also make the 3500, I believe, these Epson projectors, but I go crazy on Call of Duty. I definitely don't miss a beat. Like, I would play on my 4K TV prior to them playing on that projector because of what you're saying. Like, it's just too much. But I don't know what it is, but I could play Twitch shooters on them. I could play, regular all Call of Duties on them, and I'm competitive with it. So I definitely feel that it is. For some reason, this projector, the way the input is, I don't know what it is. It is the new updated HDMI ports, the 2.1s. But I'm ready for next gen. Give me my 4K because I'm going to plug it into that thing and be in all its glory. So, but yeah, I've been playing on that. So that's one of the reasons why I haven't been doing on the PC stuff, because I got to come to like my PC studio room and stuff like that, where I have a PlayStation PC and stuff like that sitting up there. So and that's why also I've been streaming from that too, because I get to play on the way I want to play, but also stream. So, no green screen and stuff like that. But I'll do those too. But anyway, I'll do the green screen with the camera and all that stuff and play on the stream on the PC and stuff. But lately, I've just been loving that thing, and just streaming from there. I could sit back and play how I want to play it, and also stream at the same time without doing cameras and stuff. Oh yes, I have tried racing games on it, and I got the cockpit. So I have the cockpit seat with the wheel, and yeah, it's called Gears and Busters. To tell you right now. Gears and Busters. I could probably charge a mission for Gears and Busters. Grinds Gears and Busters. I don't know what the hell I'll call it. G and B or whatever the hell that is. But I tell you, sitting in the racing cockpit seat with the projector is like, yeah, a mission, please. Pay at the front door. Yeah, it's incredible. So we came back to this, and the reason why I was get to the point of the whole the title of this thing, I just wanted to do some recap. But so the Series X got announced, right? We talked about it on the UPP podcast about the whole the name and the reveal and stuff. I'm gonna say right now, the name, I understand what they're doing, where they're just gonna call. They came back a week later to clarify that it's called the Xbox and the new Xbox, and it's be the Series X. I definitely understand what they're doing with the name, in that where it's going to be a bunch of series. Then I saw somebody did like a mock-up of like the Series S, which probably going to be the Lockhart, maybe a Series C, which is the cloud, look like a GameCube. And I can definitely see where they're going, or they go Series X1, X2, X3, definitely following the phone model in the way they're doing this. And their number nomenclature has been all thrown off since they've done the 360. And the whole reason why they did the 360 is because they wanted people to say Xbox 360 and not seem inferior to the PlayStation 3. They didn't want to say like, oh, well, we're going to have Xbox 2 and that's PlayStation 3, so 3 is better than 2. Then they threw that whole thing out the window and said PlayStation 4 and we're going to go Xbox One. I guess that whole thing blew up. But their whole nomenclature has been messed up since that whole thing started. So just to drop it all and just call it the Xbox and just have different versions of it, the series versions, akin to phones. Well, phones still have the numbers next to them, but maybe an iPad. And I understand it. I think in a consumer world, and just like what they're doing now, I think having too many versions on a shelf might be overwhelming to some customers, and they really need to educate the salespeople on how to direct the customer to what they want. Whereas, there's really not really a salesperson to explain gaming consoles to you. You really just go in, grab it, and leave. Especially to the average consumer, just walk in, give me what's the new one, give me, and go out. And if they just see a 5 and the previous one was a 4, PlayStation 5, grab it. It's simple. Whereas they might need some explanations with the Series X and Xbox One X. I think they should have probably called it the Model X rather than Series, but we'll see why they called it a Series. Not a huge fan of the name. I think it is going to lead to some confusion. Is it going to destroy their sales? I think there's a lot of other things that are going to destroy their sales in just the way they're running their business. For console sales, I mean. But I don't think the name is going to kill them, but I don't think it does them any favors with that. The shape of the box, it definitely looks like a small PC box. I think it looks good standing up. The way I have my setup right now, if I had it on a table and my console was on the table, I would not be able to play it standing up vertically because it'll be in the way of the TV. Consoles, and I know that media consoles are definitely shaped for like a DVD type player and stuff like that. What's up, the Floyd? Happy New Year. So I don't think it fits in that aspect of sitting vertically in front of your TV or in a media cabinet, maybe to the side. The other thing that I noticed too is if you turn it to the side, because it can do horizontal, the Xbox logo looks like it's going to be facing down. So it's not going to be like the Xbox logo will be facing on its side. I don't know if that aesthetically, I think it looks kind of weird on its side. I think it looks like a big shoebox with a slit. Yeah, I'll talk about that on the Penguin. I think it shows like a little bit like it looks a little weird on the side when I saw some mock-ups of it. But it's all right. Like, I think one of the biggest things, and I brought this up before, but I think the biggest thing that box looks like is that it's going to be modular. I think that it's modular I think the way it's built is that Xbox is going to make this basically a modular console. That's why maybe they named it the Series. They'll have all different versions, like an i3, an i5, and i7. And by having that kind of just plain box shape, they could easily just, modify the unit and sell it as a different series. Rather than doing this custom kind of shape or something like that, which will probably add to cost, they could probably take this box and, everything's square. So, hey, we could, just like a PC, put in the new GPU, put in a new processor, put in a new SSD, or, just modify it. And I'm just going back to, and I know we talk about the Phil Ness and stuff, and I don't know how much to believe him or not, but back in the day when he did the spring showcase, and I'm saying in 2017, when we were doing the same talk with power, price, when the X was going to be announced, and we didn't know what the X was going to be. It was going to be called an X. We just called it called Project Scorpio. And Phil came out in that spring showcase and said, you're going to see in the future more evolution in consoles. And he talked about modularity. And I was thinking, I was like, holy crap, they're going to make this next Xbox like a modular console. Like the X might be like upgradable. And in fact, maybe you put on a power pack and I was doing it to akin to like my Alienware setup where I have an Alienware laptop, gaming laptop with a 970 in it, mobile processor, but it hooks up through an exclusive port to the shoebox, I call it, but it's the power replicator, and basically you put a desktop GPU in it, and it bypasses the onboard laptop one and uses the desktop GPU. So I have a 980 Ti doing that, and I was thinking, at the same time, maybe the X with this modularity will have this, the Xbox One X, when we were in 2017, and everybody was talking about power, and what's the price going to be. I was thinking, the X might be upgradable. Thank you, One of the Penguin. Yes, hit that like button. Share out the video, grinders. 2020. We're in. So I was thinking about this modularity. And now when I look at the shape of this thing, I'm like, the Series X might be positioned in a way to be modular for Microsoft, not for us. Like, I don't think we're going to be cracking it open, putting stuff in it for the user. But I think Microsoft themselves made a unit that they could actually change the configurations to and sell it as a different series. Whether it happens or not, who knows? It was just speculation on my part, just thinking about what back was said with modularity and this evolution of consoles, and thinking that making the unit the shape that it is, makes it a little bit easier for Microsoft to configure it and sell it as different series, and to migrate and to change with the times, as, oh, we want more power. Okay, don't worry about it. The Series X Plus. Boom, here's the upgraded system, mid-gen refresh. You know what I mean? They don't have to worrying about heat sinks and all that other stuff. It's a plain Jane box. And just do it. Just like a PC, an ATX card or whatever the hell you do, ATX case, and just do it. So, on that term, I think the shape of it goes with the ability for Microsoft to adapt with the console. Whether they do adapt and all that other stuff, it is what it is. But what came from this whole talk was then, after just doing what they did on stage, and then they Phil says that it has to be true, right? I know, Mog. I know. Microsoft is not doing the traditional route. They're doing this whole spam the hardware, and people will play where they want to go, and eventually maybe they'll just bring their services to where the people just refuse to leave, to switch to PlayStation eventually. I think that's where they're going. They become an open door. They don't want to lock people down. You know what? I tell you, that's why I think 2020 is going to be a crazy year. And how they're going to position the console. And now, from the reveal, we know they're going to try to say this is the most powerful console you can get. Now, when you're talking about power, PC dudes are like, oh! Looking in the window, Russell Crowe style. Excuse me, power. What's going on, power? And I think our friend Merck said it. If you were that obsessed with power, you would be thinking about getting a PC with its unlimited power. Not only a PC is unlimited power, but a PC allows you to choose how to use that power. And I think that's a factor that a lot of people... Now, I'm not here to promote either one. I primarily play on console. I dab in PC. And I see these differences. And that's why I speak to this stuff. Because in the PC realm, you have a 2080, a 1080, a 980 Ti, but you are able to choose where to put that power. Do I want to put it in shadows? Do I want to put it in resolution? Do I want to put it in frame rates? You dabble. You choose where to put the power that you have in what games. Do you want higher frame rates? Do you want... And talk about ultimate freedom. You choose. Now, as we've seen with the X, and this is why I say it's remastered, you could have as much power you want as a console. Destiny 2, for example. You could have as much power as you want, but the dev ultimately decides how you're going to use that power. So yeah, you're going to play Destiny 2 at 30 frames per second on console. Even though you might have enough overhead on the X to do 60 frames per second. But the dev is choosing how to use that. And you could say, I bought the most powerful. It is like buying the Ferrari, our fastest car. Happy New Year's, Ailish. What's up, Meds? So the thing is you could have all this headroom for this console. I got the most powerful console ever. But the dev goes, you know what? We're just using that power and just making sure that you have a better, higher resolution. What's up, Eddie T? Happy New Year. And we've seen this with the X. The X has 6 teraflops. This is my first teraflop, I'm saying. The X has this. But what we've seen third-party devs doing with it, what have they been doing? They've just been janking up the resolution to be either native 4K or a better dynamic 4K to hit a higher range than the Pro. And sometimes we're even seeing performance not as efficient as the Pro. Because the PlayStation 4 Pro is hitting that sweet spot of where, we got higher resolution than 1080p, where maybe we're less dynamic, but we're more stable in our frame rates. We're not using this ultimate 6 teraflop power just to jank up the resolution and causing our frame rates to drop more frequently, because the X really is just like it's not being maximized, or it's not being utilized to utilize that power. Instead, they're just saying, hey, up the res, ship it. Take a shot. Well, it's only one shot, right? And the dev decide how to use that power. But where in a PC, if you really want power, not only do you get unlimited power, but you also get to direct where that power goes. If you're a frame rate junkie, 240 frames, go. G-Sync, FreeSync, L-Sync, Grind Sync, G-Sync, I don't know what the hell they are. G-String Sync, all those syncs, you put it in there. Bleeding, I want 8K resolutions and run at 2 frames. Take screenshots, do it. So, as they position this thing as the most powerful console, when you talk about power, it's really the creme de la creme of console gamers. NSYNC, that's a good one, Coon. NSYNC. You're talking about console gamers that are really on the brink of like, hey, I want the most powerful console, but I don't want PC power. And it's like that brink. I think it is a kind of a small group. I don't think that's masses at all. It might be the same people that bought an X. Because then the question is, and this is where we're going to talk about this, because this is what happened in 2017. Do you remember right before E3 when they were going to announce the Xbox One X, the Pro was sitting there at $400, 4.2 teraflops, 4 teraflops really to run VR. It had checkerboarding and all that other stuff. Horizon looked amazing, but it was checkerboard. It wasn't native. And this whole true 4K thing came about, and now it's like true 4K, and now what are they going to say now? We're real 4K? Do you remember right before the Xbox press conference, the first night in September, that's right. Right before the Xbox press conference, our friend Jeff Keighley, Dill Pickle himself, tweeted out the price of the Xbox One X. He didn't say the name. Is going to be $499. And people went bonkers, going, no way, $500. They thought that Microsoft was positioning this to be $400. And they did $500. And people, I remember the rage right before that E3 of Keighley ruining it and saying that the price is $500, and people just like accepting it, going like, what? And over the course when he announced it at $500, you could see the reaction was just like, oh, okay, well, it's $500. Hey, you want the power? Are you going to pay for that power? And that's the thing. Like, he came out and was just like, yo, $500 again. And I'm like, $500 again, Phil? We already did $500 with the One. You did it again with the X. You don't have a problem talking $500 on stage with a console release. Now, did we learn our lesson? Say. And I know $500 would be dead on arrival. Exactly. And after a while, people adapted to it because they kept talking about power, power, power. But we have seen where this narrative goes of power. So now when we're seeing this again, and I saw this in the last 2 weeks, we did this, the whole power and price of all 2017 about the X and 4K remasters and 4K this and it's true 4K and you're gonna and I remember the reveal of the X. Oh, they were playing Halo Master Chief Collection again. And I'm like, we're playing what game? Oh, we got Lucky's Tales and Forza. Now, hopefully, I think this year with the 2020, with the Xbox Series X, at least they got some Halo. Thank goodness. A real Halo, not Master Chief Collection that we're playing. That's right, Customs. What's up? Yes, honestly, just buy PC with that price, right? $500, and you could upgrade as you want. But the thing is like, that whole year was all about power, power, power. And now we've been 3 years in? 2 years in? Did the power do anything? Did it? Did the One X change anything? By being the most powerful console. We're 3 years into the most powerful console in the world. And on top of that, it sat at $500 for a while. Finally, they dropped the price on sale for $350 over this holiday. And meanwhile, the biggest thing was the sad edition because it was like $99, $150. That was the thing that sold. But we've did this before. Power and price. Power and price. Why did it matter, though, in 2013, people would say? The reason why was the Xbox, they knew just by, it wasn't GPUs, it was the RAM. When Sony announced the PlayStation 4 RAM and Xbox used different RAM, DDR3, I think, over DDR4, if I remember, it's freaking so long ago, that the PlayStation was a little bit more powerful. Nobody knew what that was going to amount to. But what happened was when the console released for $500 with the camera, the PlayStation released at $400. Everybody knew that the PlayStation 4 had a little bit more power, but people didn't want the camera. And didn't want to pay another $100 because they felt like they were paying for the camera. Then, Phil miraculously took out Kinect after everybody said he can't do it. Took out Kinect. Now they're sitting at $400 each in April of the following year, right when Titanfall came out. Yeah, it was 4 and 5. Thanks, Meds. It was DDR3 and GDDR5. That was the big discussion with power as we led up to the launch of this thing. Now, was that why resolution wasn't on the same point? And then they had the ES RAM. I don't know. But the problem what happened was that as these were sitting now at either $500 and $400 and both sitting at $400, one console was shooting out a bit higher resolutions than the other console for the same price. Two competitors launching a week apart from each other. Same price now. We're not even talking about the $500 and $400, which that was an initial blow. Phil came in and nixed that right in the springtime. But we're sitting now, for all these years now, at $400 for the Xbox One, Xbox One S, and the PlayStation 4. And they're both sitting at the same price point. And one was shooting out a higher resolution in multi-plat games than the other. And the resolution bump, along with some of the games that were coming out, Microsoft did have a good flow of games in the beginning. And that's where I went. I went there because of the games. I wanted to play Rise. I wanted to play Titanfall. So I went with Xbox. That's where I went. And I had the 360 for the longest time. I went there. Because I went with those games I wanted to play. I didn't want to play Resogun. I didn't want to play Killzone again. That wasn't a real Killzone. That didn't appeal to me. The other game though did look pretty good. What was it? The Infamous. Infamous looked pretty cool. But I was like, I'll hold off. And then the PlayStation library grew so much over the next couple of years, and Microsoft library dropped. Now Sony's flying on all cylinders, and these experiences look amazing, and they play amazing. So the shift happened in 2017. It actually happened when Phil went and said the X was $500, for me, at least. Because I'm like, I'm not paying $500 again to play the same games. But I do think, like Eddie says, I do think that it might have been the PlayStation was the lead platform for development, and it was easier to develop for. The ESRAM was bad. And they tried changing the power and trying to say that they took the power out of the Kinect, they got rid of Snap, and all these things to try to squeeze more power out of the box. the Xbox, trying to allow for more resourcing. They talked about DirectX 12 and all this other goodies, secret sauce and all this other shit, which really never amounted to anything because the resolution disparity was still there. You know? But that's the thing. It's price and power. But the power, that wasn't the reason why people ran out in droves. The price is what it was. And what you were getting for the price. So when you come here now, we come back to 2020, and we're talking about 12 teraflops, 13. Now, Microsoft says, hey, yo, for $300, let's go, 12 teraflops. Okay, now it might be competitive. Not going to say it can be dominant. It will be competitive. So when you look at it, they need to either match or undercut the next PlayStation to be competitive with the PlayStation brand. Because the other issue that happens this generation is that all your games go with you. This is not a reset. Exactly, Kun. And the same thing. It's about the games. And that I'm going to get into that thing as the last part. And I had games as the title. I got to add games to those. But the way they come about it now is the focus on power. I know maybe some people get triggered by it. Like, oh, no way, the Xbox can be more powerful than PlayStation. You know, I get those are some Twitter wars going on right now. But if you look at the reality of it, what did the power of the last 2 years do for us? It gave us a better... Did Red Dead Redemption change the aspect of gaming? Did everybody just flock to the Xbox platform because Red Dead looked better? Did it change anything? Having the most powerful console for 3 years now. And actually, games like God of War and Spider-Man really slapped the teraflops out of the Xbox One X. Because those games looked like nothing else we've seen on a weaker system. Showing that focused development on exclusive titles, on closed architecture, you could squeeze a lot of power out of those machines. When you're doing multiplat, developing for a variety of PCs, and developing for your console, your devs are going to have to scale some stuff to work on all different PCs and stuff. That's the first party that Microsoft has. They got to work on PC development and console development at the same time. Microsoft has it easy for them. Let them do that. But that's Xbox development now has turned into multi-platform with PC development and console development, where Sony has their guys saying, just put it on the console. Except in MLB's. I don't know if MLB is going to be on the PC, but besides MLB, for their games so far, just, they're focused on here's the hardware, go. Get it to run on this. Where Microsoft comes in and says, get this to run on everything. I want it to run on a 980 and a 2080. Scale it. Where Sony's not involved in scaling. They're like, boom, put it on this. So the power narrative, the thing is that when you have the scalability, you have to make sure that your game works on all these platforms. But again, it comes down not just to it's the games. That's why I went to Xbox first. They had games I wanted to play. And that's the one biggest thing, just like what the Kuhn is saying, that the biggest thing is that the one thing that Microsoft failed to do this whole entire generation was build franchises to sell you the better sequels for next generation. You could say Hellblade 2, which looked amazing, and yeah, it was a video, in-engine video, whatever it was. I'm great for Hellblade 2. I want to see what Microsoft does with Hellblade 2. Because Hellblade wasn't God of War. Hellblade wasn't an action-packed game, big boss fights. It wasn't that. It was a walking simulator, a great $30 experience that looked amazing, that didn't look $30. It with amazing audio and emotion, and really was interesting. It wasn't a combat-focused game. So I don't know if Hellblade 2 is going to turn into God of War. I doubt it. Maybe they take some elements from God of War because it was a very impactful game for gamers. But Hellblade 2, and this is the thing. It's amazing that Hellblade 2 got announced, right? At the thing. Because I just want to this one, right? Because here's Booty's quote on Hellblade. And what happened? All my soundboard things don't work. Great. All my soundboard stuff. But I could get that. Hold on, I dropped my thing. But I don't know why my booty broke. Broke booty. But anyway, back to what the Booty said. He said, and you heard it enough from all my things. But for some reason, I gotta find out what my audio things are. The grinds board is down. But what Booty said in that interview with Game Informer was that if Ninja Theory went on to just make the Hellblade 1 again, with the size, the scope of Hellblade, they will consider that a success. And he didn't say, if our studios took the idea of Hellblade 1 and let me see if I have it here. He didn't say, hey, if Ninja Theory takes Hellblade 1 and just makes a bigger, better game than Hellblade, like a bigger game, we would definitely be looking for that. No, he didn't say that. Instead he said, let me see, I have it. I think I have it here. Oh wow, look at this. What happened to all my things? I'll get it. But yeah, he said that, if they would just do Hellblade again, that's good. So, you can tell me what you think Hellblade 2 is. But here it is. Let me see. Booty Game Informer. I had the clip, but I guess when I cleaned my my thing, you can hear it now. Yeah, he says it here. So the guy talks about it here. If we were just to buy Ninja Theory and they ship games with the quality and scope of Hellblade. Quality and scope of Hellblade. Scope. Not bigger scope. This is the clip that I had. So, when I saw Hellblade 2, I'm like, that's great. But listening to what Booty spoke about, why they bought Ninja Theory and what Hellblade 2 might be, when he's saying, hey, the size and the scope, it's perfect for a Game Pass model. In my mind, I think Hellblade 2 is going to be just more of Hellblade 1. It's not going. Nowhere do I hear this. I go, oh my god, Hellblade 2 is going to be like God of War, open world, big battles. Can't wait. I don't feel that. If it is, that's great. Hey, great. But hearing Booty's interview when he spoke about Hellblade, and this was the clip that I had, it doesn't sound like Hellblade, the next Hellblade from Ninja Theory, would be big open world battles like an evolved Hellblade. It'll probably be evolved in storytelling, maybe better combat, hopefully. But he says that a game like Hellblade is perfect for Game Pass. And where's Microsoft's focus? Game Pass. I talk about this ad nauseum for enough of this shit. But when I saw Hellblade 2, I was hyped. I thought it was great. It looked amazing. I'm ready to play Hellblade 2. Do I think Hellblade is going to be, a $60 monster of a game? I don't think so. I think it's going to be a 9 to 10 hour game. I don't know if it'll be $30. It's going to be right in Game Pass, just like Booty said. So that's what they're looking for. So that's the thing. Like, I don't think, when I look at Hellblade 2, I'm like, holy, there's the God of War, there it is! I'm not. So I'll play it when it comes to Game Pass, like, and then that stuff. And exactly what wound up Penguin. And the same thing, they did say, when everybody's like, oh my God, Obsidian's making The Outer Worlds 2. And they said, no, they want to make it smaller. They don't want to make it bigger. Like, you know what? Even Bonnie Ross said it with Halo. Like, that Halo Infinite is going to be a callback. Because you can't be bigger than the previous one. She's like, we did it with 3. We said we're not going to be bigger in 4. And then 5 came out, and we're not going to be bigger than 4. And we can't be additive. We got to be focused. And this focused development is something that he spoke about in that interview. And that's the thing. Like, Hellblade 2 looks great. I think it will be a great showpiece for the power of the Series Xbox. I think it's great. The Series Xbox, oh my God. See, it already begins. But I do think that it was a great move. And great they showed a mature game to go with the console for a mature console. Thank you. Show most powerful console with a mature game. Don't show me Series X and then show me cartoons. I had that clip. I'm going to get that clip too. But again, and that's the thing, and I think who was saying that? Who was saying that? Somebody said something where they just want to, I think it was Mog. It was like, I just want the consoles to be consoles. Like, you got to understand too. Like, we got in the Xbox camp, we got this thing called Xbox Game Pass that's really, really driving. What's up, Ghost? How you doing? Like, it's really driving the infrastructure of Xbox and probably leading a lot to these purchases that they're buying. So I think the games that we might see at different levels of this, of like a Halo or Gears Cowboy, which I know a lot of people are looking for, myself included, could probably come out of the initiative. But they said they want to stay small and nimble. I don't know what that means. I don't like all this small, small, small. You got to have balance. You got to have big with your small. You need to have your triple A's with your singles and your double A's. You can't just have double A's. And that goes on to what Ybarra said. That's what Ybarra said. Ybarra, when somebody was hyping up these studios and what the games are making, he goes, I hope they're big AAA experiences, not middle-of-the-road AA games. You need these games. And I think he did a big attack on just their PR because a lot of people were running with the power and going power, 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 and then talking about, Game Pass games. And it's like, this is the biggest problem that you have. And this is where we're really going to see how Microsoft positions this. You're talking about a Game Pass service that tends to favor what Matt Booty said, smaller, focused experiences. We've seen this in Bleeding Edge. We've seen this in stuff. And then we have our outliers, such as Gears, such as Halo, such as Forza. Will there be other ones? There need to be other ones. Will there be? We don't know. Because outside of Gears, Halo, and Forza, everything coming out of their studios is AA mediocre experiences that Matt Booty, that Ybarra was reflecting on. Then everybody went at Ybarra going, look at Ybarra said that. But Ybarra's been saying what everybody's been saying. You need to have big AAA games, especially if you want to be the big dog. You want to be the big dog and have the most powerful console. You got to show some games that reflect that power. That's why Hellblade was a great game to kind of show with the Series X. But do they have more games looking like Hellblade? And when people complained, like, you showed XO19, you showed Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and a whole bunch of cartoon Nintendo Switch looking like games. But you're running around going, you got the most power. You need to show realistic games to demonstrate that power, especially if you're making people pay more money for that power. If you're telling me that your console is $200 more because of power, then it's your responsibility to demonstrate that power. That's the thing. That's the thing that Microsoft needs to understand. You can't market to casuals and mediocre and playing on phones and then going around going like, well, we got the most powerful console in the world. Your library needs to have balance to demonstrate that power. That's what I've been saying. Like, the problem they have is this dichotomy where you want to be pulled in two different directions. And Ybarra basically said it. Not double experiences. And then he came back, and exactly. And then Ybarra came out saying, like, I trust those people on the platform, blah, blah, blah. He came out and kind of rectified that, you know. And Mike, you know, Ybarra might know some stuff. You know, he might know some stuff. But he was really about the platform. And he was on the Mixer platform, actually, before he left. Like, he was a Mixer thing. So, Ybarra, you know, he's a big PC guy too. And that's the other thing. As a PC person, you want Microsoft to drop big games because then it demonstrates the power of your PC, right? You want Microsoft to do that stuff because you got a powerful PC. You want to, you know, have big games. Yeah, there's balance, but as I always said, there needs to be a balance. And when your booty was speaking about here, he was saying that, you know, the games that these studios are going to make balances out from our bigger releases such as Halo, Gears, and Forza. Will they have more? Because that's the biggest criticism. As we've seen with Gears 5, the interest has gone down. I don't know what they do with Gears 6 because this thing is kind of going down. Not it's not a fun game. But Gears is not what Gears was. Like, Gears is not bringing down lines around corners to buy games, and Gears is not a platform seller as it used to be, maybe with 2 and 3. Is Halo going to do that? Maybe. You know, Halo did huge numbers on Steam, but again, that's Halo Reach, the first one. Is Halo 1 and Halo 2 Remastered going to do the same stuff on Steam? I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what Mike wants to do. But, you know, he definitely has been saying some stuff. You know, and I think it's more against the PR because I do think that, and again, this is just my thoughts. I do think that maybe they're, like the in-house, like, you know, basically the people that work on it, the hardware and stuff, when they do something, the PR then tries to market it or spin it. And it might not be the vision or kind of what they thought they were working on. Or now PR is pushing 4K and the devs like, 4K is really not the thing. I really want to tell my story. Like, and they're like, but wait, can it run in 4K? Yeah, we could do dynamic. Okay, good. And then the PR department runs out and says, the next game is running in 4K. And the dev is like, I really just want to tell my story. Like, you know, I know we could try to get 4K, but really I want to make sure it looks like this. And the PR team maybe runs and starts saying stuff. And maybe Mike is akin to that, going like the PR about this power. It's about the games. And it's not to say that Xbox doesn't have the games. They definitely got more games in their pipeline than 2017, which was a friggin' disaster of games, and launching the most powerful console in the world with Lucky's Tales. At least they got a Halo behind the Series X, and they got an announcement of a Hellblade. So at least we're working there. Now, with Game Pass as the factor there, my concern still exists of Microsoft making games for Game Pass. And if Sony starts putting their games day one in a subscription service, I will have equal concerns with that. But Nintendo and Sony are not doing that. They're still following the traditional route of giving us games not built for a subscription. Because Booty goes on to say about, hey, by putting our games as a subscription, devs don't have to worry about microtransactions because it's already in a subscription. Well, that's great. But then explain why Gears 5 is a $60 game in a subscription and then has tons of microtransactions for the cosmetics that are way overpriced. In addition, not even the cosmetics, but the characters. The characters are $5 each, and you got to grind in 5 different game modes to get them. So it's really $5 to play. I want to run around as Coltrane. Well, you can't run around as the Coltrane skin in multiplayer unless you unlock Coltrane by playing Escape mode, where he has special abilities. And he has special abilities in Horde mode. Like, I don't play Horde mode. I just want to play King of the Hill as Coltrane. Well, we have an option for you. Pay $5 to run around as Coltrane. But why is a skin $5? Well, he has abilities in 2 game modes that I don't play. That's the story of Gears 5 and microtransactions. It's bad. But that game's already in the subscription. If you're paying $10 to play Gears 5 and other games, now you got to deal with that horse shit on top of that. That kind of goes against what Booty said. Booty said, like, oh, you're in Game Pass. You don't have to worry about the longevity and microtransactions because you're in a service already. Well, who's double dipping? Explain that to me. But this Game Pass, though, is going to be the X factor. Take that. The X factor in this whole thing moving forward is going to be Game Pass. Because that's the big thing that's driving the system. It's not the consoles. It's not PC. It's Game Pass. Game Pass is the X factor. It's the backbone of xCloud. It's the backbone of the console. It's their way of enticing PC players to pay for Xbox Live. You know that, guys, right? You pay for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate on PC, and you don't have an Xbox, you're paying for Xbox Live. And when they add xCloud to that too, Xbox Live will still be there. That $5 a month. They'll get it, yeah. You got to own a console and a PC to benefit from Ultimate. That's right, Meds, too. Game Pass isn't... And no, Game Pass isn't a Gears 5 problem because Gears 5 in Game Pass validates Game Pass. But you're right, the loot boxes in Gears 4 were bad. But everybody was doing them at the time. The loot boxes, like, everybody was just kind of like random box that you don't know what you're getting. The problem, the benefit, though, is that I think you got better stuff with the loot boxes just being randomly opened than what you're getting for the per price model, where it's like, you want this, you pay $5. I just think the prices need to be halved at least. But the skins, they should have the skins for free or a skins pack for at least just the multiplayer. I know that they're trying to do this Overwatch thing with escape mode and horde mode, where they have abilities. So you're actually buying an ability to use in those modes. But if you don't play those game modes, it's really just a skin. So, like, just sell the skin separately. So sell the character for $5 to use them in all modes, but maybe sell the skin for $1 or $2 so you can run around as somebody different than a Terminator. Maybe something like that. But yeah, Game Pass didn't hurt Gears. No, Game Pass validated. Gears validated Game Pass, because if they put more games of the caliber of Gears in Game Pass value shoots up. But the thing is if they do. So that's kind of the thing we have to wait and see. But coming back to power and price, the other thing that came out was the fact that the Sony PlayStation 5 will be possibly underpowered as opposed to the Series X. Like, we're talking, here's my last teraflop thing, maybe 11 to 12 teraflop thing, which Xbox, Phil never commented. He just said more powerful than the X. We don't know if that's GPU power, if that's overall processing power, is that teraflop power. He just did the multiplication of it. And they're estimating people around 11, and then people are saying that the PlayStation 5 is about 9.2 or something like that teraflops. But PlayStation might be targeting a $399 price point. And I'll say what I said on the podcast before, was that throughout this entire generation, after that debacle of the PlayStation 3 launch, Sony has been very, very price conscious with their consoles. Excuse me. Their PlayStation 4 was taught. They took that camera out of the box and said, no way, we want $399 price point. We got to undercut them. They're very price aware. When PlayStation Pro came out, it was the only show in town. It was the only Pro console out. The X was not going to come out for another year. They said that at $399 for the Pro. Now, if we go back to, let's see if I have here. See if I can find it. I think this is it. Here it is. So I'm just gonna oops. I think this is it. Here, this is the PlayStation 4 Pro. Oh my god, this guy gonna put me asleep. But just hear this, if I can find it. Okay, projector. Ooh. Yes. I think this is it. So you hear that. That's another form factor too. But you hear what he says. He says that 4K resolutions can be achieved with brute force, but it has the unfortunate representation of price and form factor. Streamline rendering techniques that take advantage of custom hardware. Focus development on a specific closed platform console development. So now he's able to use these techniques and simulate this. And blurs. That's like tea time. Man, that put you to sleep. But anyway, just to get back to what, Oh, you can't hear it? Why can't you hear that thing? Oh, you didn't hear it. Is it so low? Hold on. But you heard the booty one. I got you. Why? Here we go. Hold on. Let me just make sure. So nobody's hearing that stuff. Again. Let me check what's going on with my audio. Hold on. I'm going to fix this thing. not that one. Trying to see what. Well, he's saying that. Yeah, you know why I did this on my other computer, and it changed all my settings around that I had going on because I streamed from my other computer.
What you may find surprising is that
there we
the
go.
models and textures being used here, whether they be for the environment.
All right, guys. Sorry for that little
warriors,
hiccup.
Are in fact the exact
I'm coming back to the
same
chat. Can you hear me now?
standard PS4. Difference is in the high rendering resolution that PS4 Pro can support. It is
You hear my mouth breathing. That was my Darth Vader impressions. Who checked that out? Hold on. There we go. Can you hear him now?
Impressively close to realizing the complete potential of 4K. Can of course be used during
Here we go.
million pixels.
Can you hear us, Ernie?
4K TV owner, and truly excellent enhancements for those using HD TV.
All right, here he goes.
We'll give you a detailed look at those aspects of PS4.
Here's the part.
Is for gaming content, VR. Let's deliver an industry been supporting 720p
There it is.
and 1080p HD TVs with 1 or 2 million pixels. 4K TVs provide a staggering 8 million pixels of display resolution. The achievable visual depth and detail are extraordinary. Brute force rendering techniques can, of course, be used to support these displays, but they have unfortunate consequences for console cost and form factor. So, with PS4 Pro, our strategy has instead been to foster streamlined rendering techniques that can take advantage of custom hardware.
See? So I was saying. So that's what he said. You could brute force 4K, but it's going to come at the cost and console shape, which is very interesting. You know, which makes you think that what's the PlayStation 5 going to look like? PlayStation 5 might be a tower, you know? Who knows? But just the approach. Sony has always been price conscious with their price. They want to be at $399. So, will they give you a 9.2 teraflop console to achieve a $399 price point? I could see them doing it. You know? They will, that price. Microsoft, in addition, Microsoft having 2 consoles, supposedly, might price the Series X. It sounded sultry. Oh my god, it put you to sleep, man. But yeah, like Microsoft could say, hey, we got a $500 or $600 console, and then, but we have a console for you. Remember what 2017, when Phil Spencer said, hey, the Xbox One X is not going to be our most selling console. It's going to be the best value in gaming, the Xbox S. That is going to be the most selling console. He said it. I remember going crazy. I'm like, how are you going to sell the X when you're saying it's not really going to sell? Oh, because everybody wants the best value in gaming. So why won't they do the same approach again with the Series X and a Series S? Hey, you got the X if you want the power, but if you want price, the most valuable next-gen console would be the Series S. And that's your Lockhart with a discless console if it happens. Now, the last element I want to leave it with is that I think that my pricing at first I thought was going to be 6, 5, and 4. Because looking at what's out there right now with the Xbox X still being $500, maybe $400 on sale, $350 on sale, and then the S still being $300, $250 on sale. These consoles got to drop about $100 and something over this year to even allow for next gen to come in, right? Like the consoles that we have right now are priced too friggin' high. They gotta be at those holiday prices all like now. Go. Let me just check. I'm just gonna check Best Buy right now. I just want to see if the prices went up again. Hold on, because they don't need to be. Like these prices, that X should be $350 now. That's it. The Pro should be $300, $250, $300. And there you go. Guys. There you go. All the consoles. Back up. $500 for the X. What is the Pro at? And the Pro is at $399. Watch. Let's see. Yep. Pro's at $399. They're giving away a controller for both of them. No. These consoles are still overpriced. They need $100 off of them today. So tell me what you think next gen is going to cost. That's why I was going $600, $500, and $400. You can't have a Lockhart come in at $300 price, $300 when you got a Series X, when you got an Xbox One X sitting there at $500. Or if they drop it to $400, you can't have a next gen console $100 cheaper than the X. That makes no sense. What's up, frogs? You know? You can't do that. Like, those consoles need a drop, but they all went back up to $500 and $400 now. So tell me, oh yeah, Lockhart's going to be $300. $300. No. But if Microsoft comes out with a more powerful console, if it's like 2 teraflops more, and they're willing to charge, and they charge you $100 more than the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and then they take their Lockhart and they match that with the PlayStation 5 cost, I don't know. Now, I want to just say I was thought about it, and Merck said this on the UPP podcast. He said that maybe they focus on just releasing the Series X this year. I agree. Series X, PlayStation 5, November, let's go. Then after that, December, a year from now, 2021, Microsoft then unveils the Lockhart as a more, a better value of next gen. Because I think a lot of people are going, oh, they're going to have 2 consoles day one. I think it's hard to probably launch one console globally. You imagine launching 2 versions of the same different console? Like, it's really 2 versions. It's not one with a hard drive, one without. It's like friggin' the Series X, and apparently Lockhart has no disk drive, and, one with disk drive and one without. I don't know. Like, I can imagine that will be kind of crazy for inventory, going, well, we're shipping 2 consoles on the same day. I don't know. But I think what Merck was saying, where you just keep it, and I think too, the reason why they show the most powerful console now, I don't think you could counter that with Lockhart. Like, I really don't think, especially if Sony starts talking their power and their PlayStation 5 now in February or March. What are you going to do? Counter that with what? Hey, remember that X that we want? Well, we got another one, a weaker console. Like, you really don't want to be talking anything weaker than the PlayStation 5, than your competition. You want to bring back everybody to the most powerful console. You want to still talk about that Series X. You don't want to move on from that. So by them kind of introducing the diskless, Series S and trying to market both of those to launch, and Sony just talking PlayStation 5, I think it's going to be kind of cumbersome. But if they just talk about Series X for the entire year against PlayStation 5, most powerful console, let's go. Like, back to back, them fighting back and forth. Then it comes about the games, which is the most important part, is the friggin' games. Then you reveal Lockhart later as the best value in gaming. The only problem with that is that if the Series X is going to be more money than the PlayStation 5, I don't think that's going to be that great. And the problem they're going to have is they're going to have to show that power. That's the problem they ran into the X. Microsoft didn't have the games to show the power of why the Xbox was $500 and why the PlayStation 4 Pro was $400. They didn't have that stuff. They didn't have the software to demonstrate that, and they relied on third party who was lackadaisical and not even using half the power. And you can't rely on third party to show the power of your software, especially when your console sales are third place. The Switch just outsold them globally. Devs are not going to take the time and develop for the third place console and make sure you shine. They're going to develop for number 1, who's 100 million globally. Go. They're not going to focus on you. So you got to demonstrate that. Sony learned that with the PlayStation 3. They came out with Last of Us. They came out with God of War. They showed that. They relied on themselves to demonstrate the power of the PlayStation 3 and created franchises that they were able to carry over into this generation. So But if Microsoft has a more powerful console for the same price as the PlayStation, that might be something. That might be a competition for price and power. But if Sony counters that with games, and Microsoft is like Halo, if they just said Halo on PlayStation on Xbox Series X, I think that would have been a better push for the Series X. But Microsoft don't believe in that future. They believe in putting their games everywhere. On xCloud, on the OG the fact that you could play Halo Infinite on the OG Xbox, the big VCR one, and on the Series X, they're bringing the whole family with them. So, and I said, I will do, my biggest thing is watching when Sony reveals the PlayStation 5, if they say, this game is only on PlayStation 5, this game is only on PlayStation 5, this game is only on PlayStation 5, and Microsoft doesn't say, this is only on Series X, this is only, and I don't think Microsoft ever is going to say that, that's going to be a huge thing, because that's going to get people to go to next generation. Regardless, it's more powerful. Whether it's 9, whether it's 10 teraflops, the thing is I can only play that game on that system. And the power of exclusives will carry and migrate the audience over. On franchises you know and love. Microsoft did it. It works. It worked on everybody. Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4, and then they wore out their Halo. But you build franchises to do that. Nintendo's been doing it for a lifetime. You like Super Mario Brothers? Well, there's Super Mario Brothers 3, and here's Super Mario Brothers 4, here's Universe, and here's Smash Brothers. You build the franchises, and those are the tentpole games that carry you to the next generation. And Microsoft had a bad generation of not really doing that. And then on top of that, they just divested all their games to other platforms where you could get the same thing and stay where you are. You want to be on PC? Give me all their games. You want to be on xCloud? I could play Gears on xCloud. They're doing that. And I'm talking about day and date, because that's the biggest thing. And I'm going to tell you right now, the last thing I want to end with is, I'm not waiting with that in mind, I'm not waiting to play, because I saw this in 2017. Oh, I'm not going to go play I'm not going to go play this game, Forza. I'm waiting for the X to play it the best. Oh, I'm not going to play State of Decay 2. I'm waiting for the X. I'm going to play it the best. I'm not doing that. Last of Us 2, day and date, on PlayStation 4 Pro. And then I'll go see it when it runs on PlayStation 5. I am not holding off on games, because my expectation is that they're going to be just PlayStation 5 games that I want to play. So I'm going to consume my PlayStation 4 games on the PlayStation 4 when they release, with the assumption, and hopefully Sony confirms it, that there will be PlayStation 5 games that I will be playing on my PlayStation 5. I am not waiting. I don't recommend you wait. Because Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, I say play them on the Pro. That's the only place you can play them, right? Halo Infinite, you can play that on your 2080 Ti. You don't have to go get a Series X. You could play it in better glory than what the Series X is going to do. Who knows? I know the stream went down for just a tad. But yeah, you don't know. Like, the fact that these games everywhere, I'm not waiting. I'm going to play them on the Pro with the expectation that they're going to be PlayStation 5 games. And I hope Sony confirms that. Because if Sony says all our games are on PlayStation 4 and 5, then I will question, what's the urgency to buy a PlayStation 5 if there are no games exclusively on the PlayStation 5? The same questions I ask when, talking about an Xbox. Am I going to get a Series X? No. If Microsoft just says, hey, we're putting these games only on Series X and they're games that I want to play, then I might consider it. But for right now, I got 2 gaming PCs. I could play what Microsoft's offering. And the thing is with Game Pass, Xbox and Microsoft make it so easy to just do peekaboo gaming. Jump on Game Pass, play the games I want to play, jump off of Game Pass. I got a whole stack here of 15-day trials that I just keep using. I'm going to go get them at PAX East to get some more of them. I got about 6 of them. And I just use them when I want to play a couple of games. I play them, stack them up for a month, and that's it. They make it so easy that you don't have to... See, that's just the one thing where Game Pass is great, because Game Pass allows you to not even invest in their ecosystem. You don't have to invest in Microsoft at all. All you got to do is just pay a month, drop off a month, pay a month, and you can play whatever you want, whenever you want, and just renew when you want it. There's no investment. So they make it really easy as a PC, other console owner, a PC, a PlayStation, a Switch owner, to just jump on when you feel like it, play a little bit, and jump off without investing in hardware, a console hardware, without investing in buying cards. You don't have to do it. Peekaboo Gaming. Hashtag Peekaboo. Hashtag Peekaboo Gaming. You could do that with the Game Pass, and that's what's so great about it. It's such a great option, right? It's an option that you don't have no commitment to. Who doesn't like that? Who doesn't like to have an option with no commitment? That sounds great. That's how I'm going to roll until they change otherwise. But anyway, do I get PlayStation 5? Yeah. I loved God of War. I still play Spider-Man 3rd, 4th time in. I love the games that they're offering. The games are fun. They're exclusive. They're amazing. They're built for that hardware. You see it. I just want more of it. And the PlayStation 5 will probably give me more of it. I'll answer the last question before I go. And Mog says, do you think Game Pass will start affecting third-party devs? I hear a lot of Xbox gamers say they won't buy Capcom and Bethesda games because they'll go to Game Pass. I do think the whole notion of Game Pass, especially with third-party, is that Game Pass is going to cause people to hesitate buying their games day one. Especially if the game doesn't get like outstanding reviews. Like if the game is not like a must play, people will wait and assume that it might come to Game Pass. And if you become a developer that kind of is just putting your games in Game Pass after a few months, it will affect your sales, especially on that platform. Because people will just hold off and wait and assume that's coming to Game Pass. That's why there needs to be a balance. And third party needs to watch out, because they could cannibalize their sales by doing that, especially the big ones. Like I think the big third party games will be affected by Game Pass. I think Game Pass is amazing for those indies or for those games that kind of in between big games, because it gets you notarized, it gets you market aware. Basically, people go, oh, I want to check out this game. I never thought about checking it out. Well, it's in Game Pass. Let me do it. Like Blair Witch and things like that. Game Pass helps those. But, Metro Exodus going in Game Pass, I think helps Game Pass show that we're putting bigger games in Game Pass. But I don't think that, if they get, hey, Capcom's always putting their games in 3-4 months. Yeah, people won't buy it. They'll just wait for the Game Pass, especially if it's a game that they're really not interested in. Or, hey, it didn't hit as well as it was. Or there's so many games coming out, I'll just wait for this to come to Game Pass. I think it can hurt it, especially for the bigger ones. The bigger ones. Like if you're saying Capcom and Bethesda games that it just seems to kind of go in there, yeah, I think it can hurt their sales. Whether they care or not, if they're getting more money in the back end, that's on them. But, yeah, I think it possibly can hurt their sales. I think Game Pass does help, the kind of games like a Sea of Thieves, where it's like, hey, I don't know what this game, hey, just put it in there. Games where there's kind of doubt, or games that they're not sure, or it's an okay game, like, hence why people call it, mediocre Game Pass, like, But like I said, the Game Pass is the X factor, like that, and I expect Sony to kind of dab in changing some of their model to adjust to Game Pass. If Game Pass does pick up even more this year, they already have with PlayStation Now, which I ranted on last time about how they're just offering 3 games, and a majority of them are like 3-month like trials in PlayStation Now. I'm like, where are the long-term games? by putting bigger games in PlayStation Now. But Sony's doing the whole waterfall method, as what's his name said, they do this waterfall method where they do big blockbuster movie, then you go to DVD, then you go to Blu-ray, you go to TV, then you go to streaming. They're doing this. Well, Microsoft's doing the Netflix approach, going right to streaming or going right to the service. Sony's not. Sony's milking each purchaser. The hardcore people that want the deluxe editions day one. All right, we got them. Now put the game on sale. We got the people that waited on sale. Okay, good. Now we get them in. Boom. Put them on the greatest hits. $20. Bottom out. Let's go. Okay, we got them at that one. All right, now put it in our service for 3 months. Get them to subscribe to pay it. Got them. So they hit them at each level. Boom, 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 boom. The game is not made for a service. The game is made to hit at each part. And a good game is successful in those parts, like Spider-Man. But if you're putting a game in a subscription, there's a certain type of method of approach. Because now you got to keep people, your content is there to keep people subscribed. You got to keep them coming back for more, and the service now builds. It's a different type of game. But we'll see. But I think Sony might make games just for PlayStation Now. If they see the success of Game Pass, people willing to subscribe to play games day one. I think Sony might make some games. Maybe some like a game like a Concrete Genie 2. Maybe goes right into PlayStation Now launch day and date. But they're not putting Last of Us 2 in there, just like Disney's not putting Frozen 2 into Disney Plus. Disney's not putting the next movie of Frozen 2. They're not putting, the next big movie from Disney is not going into Disney Plus day and date. They got movies like Mandalorian. They got certain movies, certain shows that are made for Disney Plus. Frozen 2 wasn't in Disney Plus day one. And it won't. But if Microsoft ran Disney Plus, they would have had Frozen 2 in there. And then you say, yeah, that's a great service because I'm getting this for cheap. But we'll see. But again, it just seems that this whole power and price that we're going on, it's the same discussion. And I ask, in the last 2 years, did power do that much for the X? Like, did it change Xbox? I can't say that's a bad console. And not that it demonstrated its power, but I think I think you're still waiting to see, because there's not much I've seen that really showcased this thing, the need to buy this most powerful console. And I think Microsoft, just like Ybarra said, really needs to focus on games demonstrating the hardware and stop with just this whole technical aspect talk. Run through the tech and get to the games. Cerny showed it with the Pro. Hey, you can brute force power, but it comes at a cost. He wanted that thing to be $400. He didn't want that PlayStation 4 Pro to be $500, because then you got to say, why is it $500? You need to show me, and puts more responsibility on them. It puts more pressure on them. Just like Microsoft releasing 2 consoles of a Lockhart and a Series X. If those things are $200 price difference, akin to the X and the S, Microsoft, is their job to show why the X exists and why that power is, and they got to do that with first party. Third party is really not going to do it. You might have hits there. Some devs feel more comfortable than others, but you got to have the games, and you got to have the games show the power of the console. That's why it's easier to just make an exclusive game, because it's only there. You don't have to justify the different levels of performance across your ecosystem. You just show why this is better on here. So if you just had a Series X exclusive game, you don't have to worry about, oh, well, how does this look on the... I got to show why the X, the most powerful console in the world, is now preceded by the most powerful console eating those monsters for breakfast. All right, that sounds like tough talk. That eats monsters for breakfast. Does the visual match the words? When I see Halo Infinite on Series X and Halo Infinite on the Xbox One X, Am I seeing monsters being eaten?
I'd buy that for $1.
Is the visuals on Halo Infinite on the Series X and the Xbox One S, that I could probably see a difference, but on the X versus Series X, will that differential, and if Hellblade 2 does that, will I be saying monsters are being eaten? That's on them to show it. And you can't have Digital Foundry waiting for the Digital Foundry video to hype it up. It needs to be visual. It needs to be apparent. And that's one thing they didn't do with the S and the X. They really never like put them side by side because they didn't want the S to seem so inferior, even though it was the best value in gaming. But that was one thing that I remember Greenberg was going like, hey, we're not going to show them side by side. Like, they had to wait for like third party, like Digital Foundry and stuff. You can't depend on those people to promote your platform. They're going to be cynical. They're going to add opinions. They're going to add stuff. You have to demonstrate it with the games. And Phil Spencer said it himself. The games will do the talking. When he talked about the X and the S and all that other stuff, he said the games are going to do the talking. The games will talk. And then here comes CFD and State of K2 and Lucky Tales. I guess they did the talking. But anyway, guys, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2020. Roller coaster ride, engage. We are ready to go. Thank you again, grinders. Like, share out the video. I had some technical glitches, but hey, it wouldn't be a live show if it didn't. But I want to thank you again for coming out. Share, like this video. Let's get it up there. Hit that subscribe button, grinders. I want more grinders for 2020 because it is going to be a ride of a lifetime. Gaming for the win. Thank you, guys. I am out. Peace, grinders.